Good evening and welcome to the December 5th, 2022 regular meeting of the Mayor and Council. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to invite one of our residents, Carl Van Ness, to come lead us in the pledge. If you can all rise, please.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Carl. Next item on our agenda is reflection, and I'd like to call for a moment of silence, please. Thank you all very much. Next, annually, the City Council elects a vice president to preside in the case that I am unable to preside, and this is that time of year, and I want to turn it over to our current council vice president, Neil Harris, to make a motion.
Well, I don't get to make a farewell speech first?
Well, if it's short, go ahead.
I'm kidding. Nobody wants that. No, I would like to nominate Lisa Henderson to be our next council vice president.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. We're the nays, people. Just kidding. That carries unanimously. Let's give Lisa a round of applause. And thank you, Neil, for your service.
And for my lack of farewell speech.
A cavalcade of accomplishments.
It's coming from the Mayor and Council. Okay, next on our agenda is approval of minutes, and tonight we have two sets of minutes before us. The first from the work session on November 14th. What is the pleasure of the council?
Move approval of the November 14th minutes.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions?
Abstain.
Okay, that carries 4-0 with one abstention, Councilmember Wu. Next, we have the minutes from the regular session on Monday, November 21st. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I motion to approve the minutes from November 22nd.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And I think we're going to have two abstentions.
I abstain, Mr. Mayor.
I voted in favor because I was technically present. 12,000 miles away.
You were, because you were present on Zoom.
Correct.
That's
Yep.
legit. Okay.
Yes, that is.
All right, so that carries 4-0 with one abstention, Councilmember Spiegel.
Or will we amend those minutes as well because they show him as absent?
Yeah, those should be amended to show Councilmember Wu's presence. Yep.
Okay, so do we need a friendly amendment here?
I think it was a typo.
You think it was a typo?
Yep.
Okay.
It's treated as a clear grader.
Looks like
We got it,
present
Doris.
to me.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure we're administratively kosher here. Next, we have appointments to various committees. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I will move approval of the resolution of the council confirming your appointments made to the Economic and Business Development Committee and Education Enrichment Committee, to a 3-year term, Wallace Sermons, to the Economic and Business Development Committee, and to the Education Enrichment Committee, a 2-year term for Roy Fleischer.
Okay.
Second.
I think, Ryan, you're going to recuse.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say I'm going to recuse myself from this vote for the record, just because one of the appointees works for a federal agency department before which I represent clients. So just in the interest of avoiding a conflict, I'm going to recuse myself from this vote.
Okay, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And we have one recusal. So that carries 4-0. And we will, they're not in the room, we'll thank them when we see them. But I will reiterate, serving on a city committee is a terrific way to serve the city of Gaithersburg. And they provide very meaningful contributions, advice, recommendations to the mayor and council. And there's all kinds of committees for all kinds of different interests. So I hope anybody here or anybody watching will consider serving on a city committee. Next, we're going to do our presentation of the Kentlands Lakelands 5K race proceeds to the Dolores Swoyer Scholarship Fund. I'd like to invite Carolyn Muller, Maura Dinwiddie, Jaree Donnelly, Elizabeth Monaco, Danny Talmadge, and Matilda Conway to join me at the podium.
Good evening, everyone. Wait for everyone to make their way up. We are many.
Over, guys.
Yeah, come on in. My name is Maura Dinwiddie. I am the Division Chief for the City of Gaithersburg Sports and Youth Services Division. Tonight I'm going to give you a little bit of background on this presentation. The 2022 Kentlands Lakelands 5K was held this past Saturday, September 3rd, with more than 1,255 participants. This event is hosted by the Kentlands Community Foundation in partnership with the City of Gaithersburg, raises funds, encourages volunteerism, and promotes healthy lifestyles for all ages. I'm joined this evening by Elizabeth Monaco, Executive Director of the Kentlands Community Foundation, Danny Talmadge, Race Director, Carolyn Muller, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Culture, Jaree Donnelly, Chair of the Kentlands Community Foundation, Linda Bloom, the Arts Administrator for the City of Gaithersburg, and Matilda Conway, a 5th grader at Rachel Carson Elementary School who created the Kids Fun Run shirt design. I don't know if you want to display it for everyone to see. It was a great design. The Kentlands Lakelands 5K benefits several local charities, including the city's Dolores C. Swoyer Scholarship Fund, which supports summer camp scholarships to City of Gaithersburg camps. This year, an impressive $11,500 is being donated and will enable even more children to attend the city summer camp programs. An additional $500 is being donated to support tuition for art classes at the Gaithersburg Arts Barn. On behalf of the City of Gaithersburg, thank you so much for this partnership and this generous donation and continued community support. Your work, all of your work, makes a huge difference in the lives of Gaithersburg residents and youth.
Thank you, Maura. The Kentlands Community Foundation truly appreciates its partnership with the City of Gaithersburg for the 5K race and in the many other programs that we are a part of and that we present together. In looking at the background of this race, I saw that in the last 20 years, more than $200,000 has been donated by the foundation to the Dolores C. Swoyer Scholarship Fund. And we were even able to continue making those donations during the last 2 years when the race was virtual or did have limited participation because of COVID concerns. And we're very, very proud of that, of the dedication of our community and of the dedication of our foundation. And I want to thank the mayor and council for showing up on the day of the race. Many of you ran, many of you helped us hand out the children's awards, and we do appreciate all of your support and all of your help in making this race a success. The $500 donation we're making tonight to the Gaithersburg Arts Barn Scholarship Fund shows once again the foundation's dedication to the importance of education of the arts in children. With this donation, we hope that anyone who wants to attend an arts camp at the City of Gaithersburg Arts Barn will be able to. Thank you so much, and next year I hope to be here again for the 30th anniversary of the 5K race.
That's awesome.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Denise, you're next, right?
Yes, I am next. Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Are you doing it from there or are you doing it from here? Because I need to know if I'm coming back.
I know, it gets confusing.
You got the staff.
I'll come down.
Yeah, come on down.
Dolores told me what to do, so now. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Ashman. It's now my pleasure to present the 2022 Third Quarter Employee Recognition Awards. Congratulations to Lieutenant John Leach and the City Payroll Team, winners of the Third Quarter Employee Recognition Award. The winners were nominated by their peers, and final selections were made by the Employee Recognition Committee, which is comprised of employees from each city department. Lieutenant John Leach was nominated for the leadership and support he provides as Administrative Bureau Commander. He was recognized for his integrity, drive, and outstanding customer service, his willingness to lead by example, not asking anyone to do something he would not do himself, along with his drive, dedication, and problem-solving skills, produces outstanding results while also boosting morale. As quoted in the nomination, it takes courage to do the job of a police officer, but also to bring about needed changes. Congratulations to Lieutenant John Leach, who's here with us this evening. Please come on up. We got a quick photo.
Thank you.
Gotta go social media viral, you know. Thanks, Dennis. Thank you. And then the Employee Recognition Awards an employee as well as a team. This team that has been nominated and selected for this quarter is the city's payroll team. It includes Ashanafi Arega, Diana Aguanaga, Francis Donji, Janice Hartman, and Larry Salins. The team was nominated for their dedication and hard work in ensuring that the city's payroll process runs smoothly despite holidays and other events that challenge regular deadlines. As much as we pride ourselves on the incredible service-minded culture we have as an organization, I'm pretty sure that would change instantly if paychecks weren't timely and accurate. The nomination noted that while much of their efforts are done behind the scenes, each member was being recognized for their dedication, commitment to service, and hard work. I don't believe there are any members of the payroll team with us this evening. We will make sure they receive their award and recognition, and congratulations to all of our winners. Thank you.
Honestly, I think it's just good practice to recognize the payroll team once in a while.
Standing award.
Yeah, standing award. Okay, Samuel Copeland, welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Let me pull this up here.
We were going to go into a courtesy review.
Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Good evening, everyone. The applicant, Michael Moran of ARES Management, submitted Amendment to Schematic Development Plan Application ASDP-9423-2022, requesting to subdivide the existing 18.62 acre lot into one 7.55 acre lot and one 11.07 acre lot, pursuant to Section 24198C of the City Code. On January 6, 1992, the Mayor and City Council approved Schematic Development Plan Application SDP-1-Bechtel for a retail commercial center known as Bechtel Plaza, with 226,420 square feet of retail uses, 6,000 square feet of restaurant uses, 24,800 square feet of warehouse uses, and 5,000 square feet of covered outdoor display uses, totaling 262,220 square feet. No physical changes to the property are proposed with the subject application. The applicant proposes to subdivide this existing lot to partition Home Depot from the other uses and also remove the specific square footage allotments for individual commercial uses. So the subject property, as shown here on the screen, is owned by TRT 270 Center, zoned MXD, mixed-use development. Pursuant to Section 24198C2, amendments involving change in use or changes other than to uses, following a courtesy review presentation by planning staff, the council shall either 1. Find that the application has a minor effect and thereby direct the planning commission to make the final decision, or 2. Direct that the amendment be referred to the planning commission for further evaluation, public hearing, and recommendation. The council shall thereafter approve or disapprove the recommendation of the planning commission. So staff recommends that the city council find the application to have a minor effect and direct the planning commission to make a final decision on the amendment. I am available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. Questions, comments?
I have one, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
The only question I have is, you mentioned wants to remove specific square footage allotments for the individual commercial uses. Is that overall on both properties, or is this to specifically apportion what the new square footage would be for each property?
So it would be for both. The original SDP had those specific allotments, so 5,000 square foot covered outdoor display, 24,800 square feet of warehouse uses, etc. They want to remove those specific allotments for each use and just have it be 262,220 square feet of commercial uses for the entirety of both lots.
It gives them more flexibility.
Right, okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments or?
Is there anything driving this?
So the existing plat shows that it's one lot, but there's a lease line. If you can see where my cursor is right here, there's a lease line right next to Home Depot and the other uses. They want to formalize it and create an actual lot of subdivision.
In anticipation of anything?
I'm not entirely sure. I assume to sell, but I'm not.
Aaron, come on up.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Good evening. Aaron Gerard with Miles and Stockbridge on behalf of the applicant. Yes, I mean, I think the idea is for the Home Depot to be able to be conveyed separately from the remainder of the center. It just, that's where the market is right now, that no one wants to buy the entire center. They want to buy the two pieces. And the way it was originally improved, it actually pretty cleanly breaks. As you noted, there was a lot line. At one point, they were under separate ownership, so it's just to formalize that.
Okay, so moving for the market, not moving in anticipation of, or is there anything concrete happening here?
It's simply to sell. It has nothing, there's no adjustments to the property proposed at all. It's just creating the lot line.
Thank you for answering that. Ryan?
Unless there are other questions, Mayor, I wanted to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I move that the city council find the application to have a minor effect and direct the planning commission to make the final decision on the amendment.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, that carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next on our agenda is public comments. This is the time the mayor and council want to hear from anybody in the public who'd like to speak on any topic that's not a public hearing topic tonight. We do have one public hearing on amendments to our ethics ordinance. So if you're here to speak on that, just hold on. We're going to get to that in a sec. But if you'd like to speak on any other topic, come on up. Carl, please come on up. We ask you state your name and address or neighborhood for the record. Keep your comments to no more than 3 minutes. If you have more than 3 minutes worth of material, feel free to deliver those 3 minutes and then send us the rest in writing. It'll be considered just the same. Go ahead, Carl.
Thank you very much. My name is Carl Van Est. I'm a 30-year resident of the city of Gaithersburg. I live at 52 Redding Ridge Drive, Gaithersburg. I can sincerely say that I'm proud to be a Gaithersburg resident, and thank you very much for making time for me today. I wanted to talk about 3 things. First, winter salt is a problem, and professionally managing salt is part of the solution. Gaithersburg does a very good job handling salt and distributing salt during the winter. I'd like Gaithersburg, in addition to how we capture salt metrics now, to start capturing salt distributed in terms of pounds per single lane mile. I'd like you to report your salt use on our website. I believe this is simple, inexpensive, and performing it in the winter would be helpful to environmentalists and would provide leadership throughout the state. Second, Lake Varuna is really dirty, and I've shared some pictures of Lake Varuna with you guys. I hope that you can include the pictures in the city record. A garbage can, there's a garbage can, there are 2 garbage cans there already. They're not placed well. Maybe that would be an improvement. There may be other solutions there also. Lastly, we need garbage cans along West Side Drive, one at the intersection of West Side and Muddy Branch, and at least one more on the hill leading to Malcolm King Park. Again, this seems like a simple act. I've noticed that Wesley, the Woods neighborhood, Washingtonian Woods, the Kentlands neighborhoods, all have trash cans near the neighborhood entrance from Route 28. It seems odd to me that we can't do the same thing for our neighbors at West Side Drive. And I don't know, but is this an environmental justice issue also? I know about these things, these areas, because the Muddy Branch Alliance does cleanups there. At Lake Varuna, we were doing a cleanup about 2 years ago that led us to notice a salt-related fish kill several years ago. Salt levels at that time were over 1,500 parts per million. It's about 50 times over what they normally would be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate your passion for this and your suggestions here.
Thank you.
Anybody else here? I'm looking at mostly staff here, so let me just, is there anybody on Zoom who'd like to speak tonight? Just use the Zoom raise hand button and I'll call on you if so. Going once, going twice, okay. All right, appreciate it. We will have those, we'll save those pictures for Doris and have them added to the record, and we can continue this conversation. So next, we're going to go to our public hearing, and it's going to be led by Lynn Board.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we have a public hearing on amendments to Section 7A 1.3, 4, and 5 of the city's ethics chapter of the city code. These amendments are to incorporate amendments to the state ethics code into the city code that were adopted by the Maryland General Assembly in the 2022 session. As a very brief overview, I know we went through these in detail at introduction, but the amendments would add a definition of quasi-governmental entity, prohibit gifts from associations such as MML and MACO that represent local governments, prohibit former officials from disclosing confidential information, add a prohibition against retaliation from when someone files an ethics complaint, and adds several financial disclosures for elected officials and exempts public information regarding certain disclosures. These ordinances were introduced on November 21st, and staff is recommending that the Mayor and Council keep the record open until 5 p.m. on December 23rd, with policy discussion on January 17th. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Lynn. I'm going to reserve my strong opinions on this till after we hear from anybody from the public who wants to speak on it. But if anybody has any questions for Lynn before we go to that, I'm going to open it up.
I have some questions,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Mayor, if I may.
Sure.
First, I'll work with Lynn offline. There are a couple of small grammatical tweaks that I'd like to suggest to some of the new language. Doesn't really change the meaning or intent, but I think just makes it a little cleaner. Maybe suggest a comma here and there. Okay. But we'll talk about that offline, and then we can discuss that during policy discussion. But one of the questions I had, and I apologize because I was not here during the meeting where this was initially introduced, and you may have discussed some of this already. Section 7A5, subsection C, is where there's this new language of exceptions for providing public access to information related to consideration received.
Correct.
From certain entities. I guess I'm not quite understanding what this actually means. Does this mean that if we have, if the city attorney or the city has information in its records regarding, say, an official or an employee getting paid under some, side contract with the University of Maryland Medical System, for example, that we do not have to provide public access to that information?
Yeah, the elected official would still have to report that income, but if we had a public information request, we would not be able to provide that information to the public.
Do we understand what the logic was in the intent of those two conflicting provisions?
Yeah, really, your guess is as good as mine, because particularly, it also exempts compensation that you would receive from a governmental entity, from a state or local government, and obviously you all receive compensation from a local government, the city. So it seems a little odd that you would have to report that you receive income from the city, but if someone were to ask for that information, we would have to redact that information from their request. So, I don't...
So they couldn't ask what our city salary is?
I mean, that would be public information.
Right.
In another way, yeah. So I'm not really sure of some of the rhyme or reason of the changes to the state law. Obviously...
That shouldn't surprise anyone.
Yeah, as you all are aware, we're obligated to have our local ethics ordinance has to be at least as stringent as the state ordinance, which is why we are including these changes.
Right. And then I also wanted to ask about subsection E, which is this new language about business entities with different percentages.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as I understand it, I think the intent here is to address subsidiary entities and then sub-subsidiary entities and then sub-sub-subsidiary entities. Is that what the point of this is?
That is correct, and it also lowers the percentage of interest that you would have to have in a business entity in order to have to report it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we go to the public? Okay.
I'll just
Please go
one more
ahead.
thing.
Yeah.
I think this is probably outside of the scope of this particular proposed ordinance and public hearing, but the last time that we amended the ethics ordinance, I suggested we take another look at I'll try and find which section it is here. 7A4 E. Bear with me. E3A, which applies a threshold of $50. That, just given inflation and everything else, that it might make more sense to increase that to something like $100. But that might be outside the scope of what's already been introduced. I'm not sure. In which case, maybe the next time we look at the ethics ordinance in a future session, that we consider putting that in there as well.
Correct.
And we couldn't just add that because that would be...
It would be
we'd have to
broadening
reintroduce.
it, beyond
We'd have
what
to
was
reintroduce
introduced.
it. We can do it some other time.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Okay. Is there anybody from the public who'd like to testify on this matter? I'm looking at you, Carl, because you're the only one from the public here. Let me check on Zoom. Is there anybody on Zoom who'd like to testify on this matter? If so, please use the Zoom raise hand function. Okay. Not seeing any. I'm going to reiterate some of the things that I said when we introduced this, in that I think there are a couple things that are okay. I mean, lowering the percentage for the reporting threshold for ownership of a certain business, of a business, I think, okay, you can make an argument for that. This is, as I said before, this is an example of well-meaning people at the state level introducing and passing legislation that really should apply to them. For example, all of the stuff that has any relevance to the University of Maryland medical system, which is very specific, right? One can infer from this law that there's some question about some people in Annapolis who are overseeing, who have legislative oversight over University of Maryland medical system, who may be receiving some consideration in some way, and so this ethics law is trying to get at that, and that's fine, that's fair. We have no legislative authority over the University of Maryland medical system. But because we have this law, and someone stands up and says, I am Mr. Ethics or Mrs. Ethics, and I'm going to make every jurisdiction have something at least as stringent as we have, which means they have to have everything that we have, even if it's irrelevant to them. To me, an ethics ordinance, ethics laws, ethics codes make sense when they're understandable. They're clean, they're understandable, they're easy to interpret. We have to do this by law because we have to have an ethics code that the State Ethics Commission will approve and say it's as stringent as the one that the delegates have. But this is doing the opposite. This is gonna cloud up what our ethics code is supposed to do and confuse people who read it. So I just feel like this is another example, and I'm not going to go on too much longer, but I'll just say it's another example where people at the state have put together legislation that has unintended consequences, and really I think it's misguided, and they should stop doing this. When we actually have policy discussion on this, I might write something up so to get it fully into the minutes and get it to Doris so it's reflected in the record about my feelings about this, because it's dopey.
I was waiting for the D word to come out.
Dopey. It's totally dopey. Okay, so staff recommends holding the record open for 18 days until 5 p.m. on December 23rd, with anticipated policy discussion on January 17th. What is the pleasure of the council?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, our record is open on this. I predict we will get 0 submissions because it's irrelevant to the city, but okay.
And even if we got submissions, Mayor, we couldn't do anything about it anyway. We got to do it the way the state tells us.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to move into from the mayor and council. We're going to start with Councilmember Wu.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. It is quite dopey.
It is. It's just a fact.
Congratulations to Councilmember Henderson on her election to the
She's
Vice
now
Presidency.
Council Vice President Henderson. Thank you very much.
President. And congratulations to our quarterly award recipients. And then I guess this is the last. I didn't get the holiday time memo. Yours is very nice.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to everybody.
This is subtly a holiday tie, too.
That is the greatest purple tie I've ever seen, Mr.
Stop
Mayor.
it. They're making fun of me because I'm colorblind.
Well, it's blue, I guess.
Go ahead, Neil. Thank you, Rob.
All right, so I'll ditto what Rob said since he doesn't get to ditto the rest of us today. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Since my daughter went to culinary school at the late lamented L'Académie de Cuisine that used to be in Gaithersburg, our holiday dinners are truly spectacular, and I haven't eaten since just to try and shake some of it off. Also, I had a chance to get to my hometown of Philadelphia over the weekend and catch up on some friends, kind of an early holiday celebration. And I had one of the greatest cheesesteaks ever recorded by mankind. So I had some fun. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Wait, where was that?
Where?
In Philadelphia.
No,
What's
where?
What's it called?
Oh, that's a secret.
Oh,
No, Steve's Prince of Steaks,
okay.
which was selected twice as Best of Philly
Okay.
by Philadelphia Magazine. And the original
not been.
Steve's Prince of Steaks is about half a mile from the house where I grew up.
Awesome. Okay. Pro tip for anyone going to Philly.
Pizza steak whiz with.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Neil. We're going to go to Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. I was traveling out of town with family during the Thanksgiving holidays, so hope everybody had a great holiday. Sorry I missed a couple of meetings. On December 1st and 2nd, I attended the Maryland Municipal League Board of Directors retreat in Baltimore. It was a really good session. I'm no longer on the board, but as a past president of the league, I was invited to attend, and we have dynamic new leadership in the staff. We just hired a new CEO who just started. She's got big shoes to fill because our previous CEO of MML, Scott Hancock's kind of a legend, and he held that position for almost 30 years. But Teresa Coons, who's the new CEO, is off to a great start, and we're really excited about her leadership and the board leadership and where they plan to take the Maryland Municipal League over the next few years. Gaithersburg has a proud tradition of being very, very engaged and involved in that organization. Tom Lonergan, who is currently chair or president, what's your title? President of the State Association of City Managers, is on the board as well, and he was there with me. And I think we're going to see some exciting developments in the league, and Gaithersburg can help lead the way on that front as well. And we've always taken a lot of value and return on investment from our involvement in the league, and looking forward to continuing to do that. Want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues, wishing everyone happy holidays, since this is apparently our last formal meeting in December. A few of us were able to attend the scaled down Jingle Jubilee on Saturday night. And although it was a shame that it had to be scaled down, it was still a great event, pretty good turnout, all things considered. And we were glad to be able to participate in that wonderful annual tradition. A few other upcoming community holiday events, in case you don't already have them on your calendar. On December 7th, the Kentlands is hosting their annual tree lighting and menorah lighting in the evening. I believe that's in Market Square. On December 10th, Rio Lakefront is going to have outdoor holiday shopping and fireworks. And if you've never seen the fireworks over the Rio Lake, it's pretty cool. That fireworks, I think, are about 6:30 that evening, December 10th. And then, of course, if you haven't yet been, our City Winter Lights Festival remains ongoing through the end of December. We now only accept tickets online, so please make sure you get your tickets online before you go. But make sure to carve out some time this month to take friends and family to the Winter Lights. It's always a wonderful time and a great tradition. And it raises money for charity, so that's a bonus. Today, the mayor and now Council Vice President Henderson and I were able to attend the inauguration ceremonies for the county executive and the new county council. And it was very exciting to welcome in so many new members of the county council and returning members. And we all look forward to working closely with them as partners in the best interests of the residents of Gaithersburg, who are city residents as well as county residents. And I will reserve any comments about Quince Orchard High School football team, because I know the mayor's going to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Lisa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to the council. I'm honored to preside as the vice president of council. I assume that a TR is in the mail.
Sure, Neil's got it. He'll.
I'm not giving it up, sorry.
Only if it's under $20.
That's
right.
That's right.
Oh, very good. I also attended the Jingle Jubilee, which I didn't know if Santa Claus was going to make it this year. So I was thrilled to see Santa Claus come in, as were many children. I think the line went on for a couple of hours maybe. So that's very exciting. Yesterday I attended Santa's holiday tour at the Community Museum, which was great. I took my 5-year-old great nephew, who, because of COVID, I didn't realize this was his first time ever seeing Santa in person.
Oh.
So that was a big deal. He didn't want any hot chocolate or cookies. He just wanted Santa Claus. So it was a great event. We had a great day, sat out by the fire, drank hot chocolate. So I think his next stop is Casey. So if you get a chance, please go see Santa. It's pretty exciting. I will just say congratulations to the Quince Orchard Cougars, and I'm sure the mayor is going to tell you exactly what happened. And then today I attended with the mayor and Councilmember Spiegel from the city of Gaithersburg, the inauguration of our new council, and congratulations to Mark Elridge as the new county executive, and our new 11 council members, 6 of whom are women. Mm-hmm. So very excited about that, and looking forward to working with them going forward. And also I want to wish to everyone who celebrates a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays to all in the coming year. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. We'll go to Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I too want to congratulate Council Vice President Henderson, and I'm excited to continue to work with you, sitting next to you, unless you're going to move things around over the next year. I do want to start on a sad note and recognize the passing of the Arts Barn's Mark Wright. Mark was responsible for, among other things, the Young Artists Competition and Concert, worked on the City Chorus and Independent Film Festival, and was also the sound and lighting director for many of the Arts on the Green programs. And as the liaison to the Cultural Arts Advisory Committee, had the opportunity to talk to Mark and work with Mark on a number of things over the years. Before even I was a council member, I always found him to be gracious, and I know I speak for the committee when I say that he will be greatly missed.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in fact, one of the first things I got to do when I was on the council was attend a show at the Arts Barn, and I bought a ticket. And he's like, you know, you don't have to buy one, right? You know. So yes, he will be greatly missed. I did also have the opportunity to attend the Jingle Jubilee. Could not talk my wife into joining me on the stage, but we're going to work on that. And of course, the children, teenagers, they never wanted to come for those things. But it was a great event. Santa was a huge hit, and it was great. You know, we walked away, had something to eat, came back, and the line was still going for Santa. So that was great to see. I'm glad to hear us talking about winter lights still going on. I've heard that the lines have actually not been too bad. So if you are thinking of going and want to go earlier in the season, you may not have to wait too long. So take opportunity where you can get it. I had the opportunity to attend a community meeting that was set up by the HOA and management company of Potomac Oaks. In attendance was their insurance agent. There was over 100 people on the Zoom. City staff was well represented, led by Deputy City Manager Dennis Enslinger, as well as members of Code Enforcement Rob Emmert, Robert Perkey, Maureen Herndon was there, District 6 Police, representatives from the Fire Department, County Health and Human Services, and all making ourselves available to answer questions from the community. As the investigation continues, and as residents are still needing help, I want to thank Dennis for handling a number of questions as far as the city involvement, and I know City Manager Briley and Assistant City Manager Tom Lonergan-Seeger have been fielding questions and working to make sure that the residents are getting all the help they need. And I really want to commend staff for their really proactive approach to making sure that everybody is being taken care of. Obviously, it's a tragic situation. Many families are displaced and have lots of questions. And I just want to congratulate the staff on really doing everything that they can to make sure that people are getting the help they need. There was one question that I chimed in on about. There was a family who are not citizens, and they had questions about their paperwork. And I brought up the fact that Senator Van Hollen's office has offered to help to expedite that process. So still lots of questions unanswered, not necessarily from us, but just in general. There's lots of things that it is still an active investigation. There are still things that need to happen as far as engineering reports and all that, but I appreciated everybody who was on that call, and we are still going to be here to help, as long as it takes to get, it's going to be a long process. So, I appreciate everybody's patience, and if you have not gotten the answers that you need, myself, members of the council, members of city staff, we're here to help, so please take advantage of that. And finally, it's already been said, but I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and a Happy New Year. 2022 has been a very eventful year, some good, some bad, but it's always a great opportunity to look at the new year and set goals and see the things that we want to accomplish personally, professionally, spiritually, whatever it is. So I hope you take the opportunity over this holiday season to reflect and to look forward, and I look forward to a great new year. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Jim. sort of dovetailing on Jim's comments about the Potomac Oaks situation, this morning I went over to Brown Station Elementary School. Councilmember Wu was with me, and I gave a proclamation to the safety patrols. As everyone remembers, the explosion at Potomac Oaks was directly across the street from Brown Station, and it happened at 8:40 a.m., and Brown Station starts at 9 a.m., and so the patrols were out there, and I heard from people in the school, from staff, that they did an absolutely tremendous job of remaining poised and calm and cool and collected and helping people, students, fellow students, teachers, parents, get to where they needed to go. They just had their heads about them, so they deserve some recognition. And we had a serious but also fun presentation of the proclamation this morning. I was happy to do it on behalf of everyone here. Then went to the inauguration, and you may have noticed when Lisa said City of Gaithersburg versus Town of Gaithersburg, Ryan and I happened to be, we cracked up because a little inside joke, because when we were introduced today, we were introduced as from the Town of Gaithersburg, which in the municipal world means it's, tends to be associated with smaller municipalities when we happen to be the largest municipality in this county. So we got a kick out of that. But it was lovely to attend the inauguration, and as everyone said, we look forward to working with everybody. And yes, Quince Orchard High School. The way I think about Quince Orchard football here after 30 straight wins, they haven't lost a game since 2019. The coaches, the head coach John Kelly of Quince Orchard has the highest winning percentage of any high school coach in the history of Maryland, with minimum of 60 games. It's their second title in a row. I can go on and on and on. But I feel like I said this to the coach after the game, we're one of America's most diverse cities. We're home to some of the most important life sciences companies in the world. We have this budding cultural and art scene, and we have some of the greatest football in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. And it's making this mayor very, very proud. I feel like it's a quality of life issue for somebody who, speaking as somebody who loves the sport of football. Not everybody does, but I think a lot of people do. So anyway, hearty congratulations to Quince Orchard's football team for beating Flowers 32-7 on Thursday night. And we are trying to invite them in to do some recognitions. Hopefully we can, depending on their schedule, hopefully we can get it done at the beginning of next week's work session. If not, we'll find the next available date. But hoping to bring them in and give them the honor that they deserve. And so with that, I will note that we do have a work session next week. We will be receiving annual briefings from the Senior Advisory Committee, the Environmental Affairs Committee, the Transportation Committee, the Gaithersburg Book Festival Committee, and the Economic and Business Development Committee. That's actually going to be a marathon meeting. But we'll be ready for it. So that will be next Monday, December 12th, 7:30 p.m. We will not be having a regular meeting or work session on the 19th or the 27th. The next regular meeting, which will be in person and over Zoom as we do it now, will be on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. Imagine that. We have things scheduled in 2023 already. With that, we'll go to from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Ashman. I think everything has been very well covered. I would just say happy holidays to everyone. I believe I read recently there's over 50-some holidays between October and January. And so I try not to name them so I don't get in trouble. But happy holidays to everyone, whatever you celebrate. And as we close out 2022, which was an award-winning year for the city of Gaithersburg, not because this was the only year that we deserved awards, and I think it was just good validation of the incredible work that our staff do every single day. And it was fitting that we got to end our last meeting with recognition of employees and city staff teams, because without them, there's there's not much else to talk about. So congratulations to everyone in the city and who all contributed to all the recognition and awards we've received individually and collectively as an organization and as a community, and looking forward to 2023.
Thank you. I will note that we did score 100. I think the second or third year, we've scored 100 on the municipal equality
Index.
index,
Yes.
which is a measure of how friendly we are to LGBTQ community. And I will also note that as you talk about mentioning 50 holidays, it reminds me of a former council member, Sesma, who always used to list all the holidays, the solstice, and you get the Festivus, and, you know. But yeah, happy everything to everyone. Now we're going to go to economic development update. Tom Lonergan-Seeger.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Just one item for you tonight. Did want to make you aware of our Economic Development Manager, Sharon Disk, initiating a brand new work group among county and municipal peers to examine a key impact of the pandemic, specifically the reduced demand for office space. The fast adoption of remote work perpetuated the decline, and Class B and C office buildings have been especially hard hit. Translation, older office buildings. It is almost a certainty that demand for that asset class will not recover to pre-COVID levels, particularly for B and C office properties. Without meaningful intervention, property conditions and values will slowly decline. The goal of the work group will be to identify processes to accelerate the transformation of aging office properties into viable, high occupancy properties that benefit the community. The unique nature of real estate assets means no universal solutions. Property conditions, structural characteristics, site-specific traits, and adjacent uses. These are just a few examples of how each building differs from others. Remote work does have advantages. The transition of our commercial real estate market to absorb the new normal is an opportunity, effectively creating a new supply of sites for future economic and community development. Again, I did want to thank Sharon for taking the initiative to initiate this work group, and we will keep you apprised as the work progresses.
That sounds like a really valuable endeavor. So thanks, Sharon, for us.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, Tom. Next, we're going to move to ordinances, resolutions, and regulations. First, I'd like to call up Ruth Lutero, our new Director of Information Technology. And we're going to talk about a contract to purchase mobile data computers. Welcome, Ruth.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and City Council, City Manager Tanisha Briley, and City Attorney Lynn Board. Mr. John Sletching and I are here tonight with a resolution to purchase mobile data computer. And a quick note, these are also referred as MDC, you probably heard that previously, or MDT, Mobile Data Terminal. But it's widely known as like tough books or your ruggedized laptop. So these devices are used by our inspector and can handle extreme weather condition and had a 38-hour battery lifespan, unlike regular laptop that's like 3 to 5 hours. So I'll go over with the resolution. Now, the city staff is actually recommend replacing its existing mobile data computer fleet with 27 new Panasonic Toughbook CF55 units. These MDC are utilized primarily by staff who work through the city planning, inspection, and code compliance activities, and also the Community and Neighborhood and Housing Services Department and Public Works Administration Department. The city's existing MDC fleet was purchased back in August 2017. The unit is now about 5.5 years old and at the end of its useful lifespan. The associated in-vehicle dock that provide power and physically secure the MDC in the vehicle is also at the end of its useful lifespan and will be replaced as part of this project. The proposed purchase includes 5 years of support from Panasonic, guaranteeing the city working units through the anticipated 5-year lifespan of the new fleet. Staff requested and received quotes from 7 different vendors. We have you can see on the list there, we have a quote from GSA, contract vehicle, and we have a vendor from Frontline there, vendor Frontline. And also we have Montgomery County contracts. We have an ACC vendor. So we have 7 vendors that was listed. The GSA Schedule 70 pricing offered by Frontline Mobile Tech is the lowest quote. And the city manager has granted a blanket procurement waiver for use of GSA pricing. This purchase is a planned, fully funded FY23 expenditure out of the Information Technology Asset Replacement. This project will be under the approved amount of $125,000. Staff recommended awarding this purchase to Frontline Mobile Tech, who was the least expensive vendor, coming at $105,778. If you have any questions for me, I have Brian Helms here, our division manager. Also have John Sliching from Planning and Code Administration.
Thank you very much, Ruth.
All right.
Good to see you, Brian. Questions or comments?
Under budget is always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, okay. You want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, that carries 5-0.
And the next resolution will
Yep.
be for the police technology refresh, and we'll have Brian and Lieutenant John Leach to present it to you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I like this idea of using GSA schedules. That's interesting.
Good evening, Mayor Ashman, Council Vice President Henderson, and council members. My name is Brian Helms. I'm the city's Business Systems Division Manager in the Information Technology Department. I'm joined here this evening by Director Lutero, Chief Soroka, and Employee of the Quarter, John Leach. We're here this evening to request a resolution of the Mayor and City Council authorizing the City Manager to negotiate and enter into a contract for police camera systems, services, and tasers. The city's police and information technology departments have a significant police technology refresh project planned in FY24. Major technologies covered by this refresh are county radios, vehicle camera systems, body-worn cameras, ruggedized laptops, toughbooks, and tasers. These technologies are all currently in use by the city and provide critical functionality to the police department. This existing hardware will be at, or in some cases, far beyond its useful life expectancy. This project's been carefully planned by the departments over the last 3 fiscal years to replace all significant vehicle-based technologies simultaneously. Simultaneous replacement will provide meaningful operational and cost efficiencies to the city, as vehicles will only have to be removed from operation once for a single set of combined installation activities. The city currently utilizes Axon Enterprises Incorporated for body-worn cameras, tasers, interview room cameras, and related digital video evidence management services. The city's existing in-car camera system, installed in FY13, is Panasonic's Arbitrator 360 system. Staff recommend entering into a new 5-year contract with Axon to refresh its existing body-worn cameras and tasers, and to replace the existing in-car camera system with the Axon in-car camera system. Moving to Axon's in-car camera system will achieve the police department's goal of having one unified digital video evidence system for body-worn cameras, vehicle cameras, interview room cameras, and videos submitted by third parties. It will also fully align the city with Montgomery County's current public safety technology standards. Axon has informed the city that there is a 10 to 12-month lead time for its in-car camera systems. Entering into a new contract with Axon now will allow these units to be ordered and will ensure that the project's planned timeline is not negatively impacted. The city will not be charged any costs associated with the Axon in-car camera systems until the units are received in FY24. Axon is the only seller of its equipment and services. Montgomery County has negotiated a significant bulk discount with Axon, which is being extended to the city. City Manager Briley has issued a procurement waiver to allow the city to utilize this pricing. Axon also has a price increase planned on January 1, 2023. No shocker to anyone. Entering into a new contract now will lock us into the current rates along with the county's discount for the duration of the city's proposed 5-year contract. This will result in significant cost savings for the city. Staff recommend awarding this purchase to Axon Enterprises Incorporated at an annual not to exceed cost of $280,000, charged out of the Information Technology Asset Replacement and Police Operating Accounts. The total 5-year cost of this contract will not exceed $1,400,000. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Brian. Questions, comments? Lisa?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Brian, does the related digital evidence management services include storage?
It does. So that's the the evidence.com product from Axon. And we have that currently, so it would be expanding to also include the in-car camera systems.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Or
I'm just
Jim? Oh,
Sorry.
Neil, then Jim. Go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, I'm just curious about there's an annual cost associated with this, but there's a mix of goods and services. How does that all fit together?
There is. Axon it's a unique company. So it is software as a service. So the back end, the evidence.com product, which manages all the digital evidence, retention, redaction, even sharing from, say, a citizen who might want to upload some video evidence. All of that is software as a service. The hardware itself is owned by the city. It is not a lease. So if this contract were to end for whatever reason, we would keep the body-worn cameras, we would keep the in-car camera system. It would be significantly crippled, however, without their back-end product. Does that answer your question?
Well, I'm just wondering how much of the $280,000 a year is purchasing of hardware, or is there any hardware involved, additional purchasing?
There is hardware involved. So it gets complicated. So I can tell you the breakout of that 280 or so, about 90,000 of that is the in-car camera system. So that's a combination of the one-time hardware purchase and then the ongoing services. Axon builds replacement of the hardware into their ongoing. So even though it's $90,000 flat, again, for the in-car system for 5 years, at the end of the 5 years, if we keep going with Axon, for no additional cost, because it's already built in, they give us brand new in-car. So Axon's shtick, one of them is continuous pricing, even though we are actually purchasing the hardware. So there's no high capital outlay. And then typically what we see is a high capital cost and then a lower ongoing maintenance cost.
That's why I was asking, since it's seems like the same cost every year.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Good pickup.
Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Brian, just wondering about integration with the new police station at 16 South Summit and how that will integrate into the new facilities.
It's a great question. So the new police facility over at 16 South Summit Avenue has 4 interview rooms. 2 of them are so-called hard interview rooms that are in the processing area where, and John Leach will stop me if I get too far ahead, where an actual detective might, say, do an interview with the suspect. There's also 2 so-called soft interview rooms on the 2nd floor. And those would be types of things where officer interviews, if there was maybe a use of force thing would happen, or even if someone had to meet with, say, the parents of someone who's a victim of some type of a crime. So those systems are in place. They're waiting. They're eagerly waited to be used by the police department. So we are unfortunately already paying for those annual services. Those are built into this. The second police get into that building, they'll be rocking and rolling the 4 new interview room systems.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
The next question is about the building, but if someone want to move the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Okay, carries 5-0.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Brian. Next, Lynn Board.
Next is an introduction of an ordinance to amend Chapter 17 of the City Code, which is our chapter dealing with personnel. And it's to amend sections 17-1 and 17-9. This is another section of the code that we are updating based on state law changes. This section deals with disciplinary actions involving police officers, and we are updating the code to ensure that we are in compliance with the Maryland Police Accountability Act that was passed by the Maryland General Assembly in 2021 and went into effect on July 1st of 2022. That legislation created Police Accountability Board and an Administrative Charging Committee in lieu of existing law, which was the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights. So we've added a new definition in 17-1 that defines police misconduct. And again, that definition comes straight out of the state law. And then in 17-9, we've deleted the reference to the Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights and instead referenced the Maryland Police Accountability Act. So any situations of police misconduct would be handled in accordance with the Maryland Police Accountability Act, and then for minor misconduct, that would be handled through the department's general orders. We are requesting that the council introduce the ordinance and schedule for public hearing on January 3rd.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Seems like housekeeping to me. Anyone have any questions or someone want to move to introduce?
I'd like to move to introduce.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, carries 5-0. Thank you very much, Lynn. Next, from the city attorney.
Nothing further this evening.
Anything from any other staff? Okay, well then, let me go back. I will remind you, we have a work session next week, which we hope you'll join us on December 12th, 7:30 p.m. A lot of committee annual reports, and the next regular meeting of the mayor and council. Let me go back to that date.
Tuesday, January 3rd.
Yeah, Tuesday, January 3rd. Thank you, Doris. Again, hope you all will join us at various events coming up. The Kentlands, Lakelands tree and menorah lighting on Wednesday, and the winter lights, hopefully, and the fireworks and everything at Rio. And until next time, let's do great things, Gaithersburg. We are adjourned.